This is BSU Tonight.
Welcome to BSU Tonight. My name is Larry Simmons, reporting from the campus of Bowie State University, and thank you for tuning in today. The Health and Wellness Fair took place on campus where students and faculty joined together to visit various vendors. The fair provided pregnancy tests, HIV testing, and health scanning. Students were informed about their health status, whether it was mental or physical, and encouraged to continue making the necessary actions to be more educated on the topic of health.
So we are reporting live from Bowie State University campus here today at the Health and Wellness Fair. Today we have HIV testing, which is free, pregnancy testing, and also a health scan. The fair was packed with engaged students and faculty going table to table as vendors provided information that filled the room with ready-to-learn energy. Students sat down to get health scan, collected pamphlets, and even made their own smoothies. At the end, this encouraged those to leave with a new and improved lifestyle. Two young ladies with me. What are you guys' names?
Taylor.
Ayana.
Okay. And I was wondering, did you do any testing today, like HIV?
Unfortunately, I did not. I went in there and watched my friend get it, but I didn't get tested.
Okay.
Not yet. I plan on doing it later.
Later? Okay. Are you nervous?
It's a needle, so yeah. But if it was a swab, I would be nervous.
Okay. And why do you think it's important that people get tested, especially being a college student?
Yeah, it's important in college because there's so many people. You really never know what you're getting yourself into. I feel like you should all be careful. Sexual relations, everything. Just be smart about what you're doing, but have fun at the same time.
That's true. What about you?
Same thing, and just awareness, being aware of things that's going around and how you can get things, stuff like that.
Why do you think people are scared to get tested?
I think people are honestly scared of the results. And then the needle, yeah, that's why I didn't get it, because I'm really scared of needles. I don't do them, but I need to. So.
Smart.
Definitely the results, because if I knew I was fooling around with multiple guys, I'd be scared to get tested, because it's like, what if
people judging you?
Yeah, what if it is?
It's your girl London, and I'm here with
Aisha Taylor Kamara, the sexual assault prevention health educator with the Henry Wise Wellness Center.
Okay. And why do you think it's important that students come here today for this event?
The first thing I'll talk about is the testing. So it's definitely important for people to get tested. We do have free HIV testing from various departments. We have the Mary Center here. We also have HAPPY under Access to Holistic and Productive Living. And then we also have SLK Health Services. So as you know, college campuses, we do give out free condoms, but we want to, focus more on prevention. So we want people to practice safer sex practices before, contracting like an STI or STD or anything that they may not be able to get rid of. And then also we have mental health referrals. We have information for financial wellness. We also have information for physical wellness. So we do have physical therapist office. We have someone doing chakras. And they're doing information about the chakras of the human body. We also have Anne Arundel Medical Center, so it's kind of a good way to kind of collaborate with organizations in the community, different businesses in the community, and then bring them on Bowie State's campus. So they can also use this place as a resource to reach out to students. Many students don't drive, so we try and contact local businesses that aren't too far away, so that if they do need to go visit some of those places, they're in distance.
Okay, how often do you think students should get tested?
As far as HIV, I do know that you're supposed to get tested every 3 to 6 months. Well, it used to be 6 months, now they moved it up to 3 months. As far as chlamydia, gonorrhea, and those type of STIs, it is, especially if you feel like you've been exposed, and when I say exposed, you weren't using condoms or any barriers to protect you from these STIs and STDs, but definitely if you're exposed, if you're practicing safer sex, usually with females they'll do it annually or every 6 months, I would say.
Okay, and how do you think, what are some tips you would give college students for balancing their health overall?
For one, just being mindful of what you eat, so as far as nutrition goes, I know a lot of times being a college student, which I was twice before. Junk food, they're quick to go to fast food restaurants. So we are thinking, as far as the wellness center, having healthier options or presenting healthier options for our catering staff here, and then also like greenhouses so that students can kind of grow their own fruit and grow their own vegetables, because there aren't that many places to eat on campus, and a lot of it does not include healthier food options.
We have many students and faculty involved on learning about their health, so please reach out to the Wellness Center for any more questions.
It's truly important to get tested because a person may never know what could be going on in their body. From the heart of Baltimore City, there is a desperate cry for new mayoral leadership amongst the district leaders as they exclaim resignation. Baltimore's Mayor Catherine Pugh takes an indefinite leave of absence after recovering from pneumonia that placed her in the hospital. Since her absence, truths begin to unveil on Pugh's children's book titled Healthy Holly. Pugh reportedly received $500,000 from the University of Maryland Medical System for her book that equated to 100,000 copies. Her book was intended to be distributed to schools and daycare centers. However, only 50,000 copies were accounted for, which leaves the other half in question. Were they ever printed at all? Donald C. Fry, the president and CEO of GBC, the Greater Committee's board, stated that it is necessary for Mayor Pugh to resign so the city can move on, heal, and leverage the many positive assets it has going for itself. And again, my name is Larry Simmons, and thank you for tuning in to BSU Tonight.
Students at Towson University in Maryland protested a hate group that decided to spread their message on the Towson campus following their Tiger Fest celebrations. This hate group called themselves the Bible Believers and targeted several groups in their speech like Muslims, the LGBTQ community, and women. Some of their signs included words like hellfire to all members of the LGBTQ community. During the protest, the Towson Marching Band rallied alongside the students who were waving their various flags and posters that read, #NotAtTU. Officers were called to the scene to ensure the safety of the campus, but the students did form barriers around the protesters because unfortunately they could not be moved since they were on public property. Protesters were escorted off the campus and a man was arrested following the protest while Towson students cheered. Towson officials released a statement saying, Towson University remains committed to upholding our values toward a diverse and inclusive campus. Although many members of our community have found the message and beliefs of these individuals to be offensive and disturbing, the strength of our community and our resolve to support each other remains resolute. Amidst all the Me Too movement protests, Bowie State University students are also taking a stand by creating a theatrical performance in dedication to the movement. This performance shared stories and challenges of sexual abuse survivors. Students are hoping to give a voice to a community that has always been silenced. We have Rakira Graham with more on this story.
Have you ever known someone without really knowing them? It's like head thrown forward, head thrown back, eyes watching waterfalls.
The most recent production by the theater program at Bowie State University highlighted and illustrated the traumatization and after effects victims experience as a result of sexual abuse.
Boys don't have sleepovers for girls. Families do. Foster families. That families we build in our hearts, and that's what she needs right now. A family.
The theater department at Bowie State University presented a 4-day performance where they showcased a heartfelt story about a family that experienced different stages of sexual abuse.
Hey, cool backpack. Do you need help with it? Well, Mom says that we're gonna have a long sleepover together and that you're staying here. But I don't understand. I thought you were growing another baby.
I know that it is almost like protocol for people to come on to you and try to take advantage of you, especially as a young actress and you're growing and people think that you can do whatever you want with them. Right. So the fact that the Me Too movement has happened is holding those people who have taken advantage of those vulnerable girls and boys, and it has held them accountable for their actions and given them consequences, so that way it's just a thing that happens, and now it's a thing that happens that needs to be stopped.
Come on, let's stop playing around.
A study found that 81% of women and 43% of men experience sexual harassment and assault in the United States.
Come on, I see the way you be looking at me.
Whoa. What's going on here?
This man, he tried to...
Oh, I get it. We have, the security button is for emergency purposes. So, let's try to keep it down, okay?
We bring the script to life.
Okay, so the most challenging part of this type of script is when you actually know people who have suffered from these things, and like you know that even after decades of like still living life and trying to make it through, that they're still suffering from someone else's choice to take advantage of them and their vulnerability.
According to science, husbands stress their wives twice as much as their kids do. There are many factors that cause this to be true, but as shown here, Robert uses alcohol to cope with his problems, which in return causes distress to his wife and family.
Think about your family. You're neglecting all of us. Think about the kids, Robert.
The Me Too movement impacted me in several ways, not only as a writer in the piece, but also an actor in the piece. Having to research these different subjects really gave a lot of information that I didn't know even existed, and definitely one that sheds a really big light on an incredibly dark subject. Did you tell anybody about?
No.
93% of children and teen victims of sexual abuse know the predator that sexually harmed them.
I think it's just that way. What are you reading?
Unfortunately, most sexual offenders attack more than once and will not stop until they are caught.
It's private.
Well, you can share it with me. It is just us. Yeah. Right there. Right there. Yeah. Right there.
40 to 80% of juvenile sex offenders have themselves been victims of sexual abuse, and offenders are overwhelmingly male, ranging from adolescents to the elderly.
And I, feverish, starving, dry mouths a babe.
One of the primary reasons women don't come forward to report sexual harassment or assault is shame. Shame is at the core of intense emotional wounding women and men experience when they are sexually violated.
Why are you yelling? Lena, baby, why are you crying?
I'm Rakira Graham for BSU Tonight.
And next up, we have Alicia speaking on Bowie's one-year anniversary in the radio station. Take it away, Lisa.
Many communication students celebrated in the radio station on campus by having special guest Ron Thompson of Radio 1 come and share his story.
In other news, Maryland native film director Joe Marshall took the time to be interviewed. I got a chance to sit down with Marshall, and he mentioned his efforts in promoting conversations surrounding taboo societal issues. Take a look.
Welcome to Bowie State.
Hey man, glad to be here, dude.
So let's get right into it. So question number one, like what got you into film?
So I feel like my story's a little bit different. Like I wasn't like a kid who just knew out the womb that I wanted to be a filmmaker. I kind of just fell into it. So all my life, I knew I was good at writing. It was something that I liked to do. So when I went to college, I went to the University of Maryland, College Park, And I had to decide between like an English major or journalism major. And the weird thing about me is that I like to write, but naturally growing up, like I just didn't really love to read. So I was like, I don't want to read all those books in English. I'm just going to do journalism. So I went into journalism, and after a while I realized that that really wasn't the best fit for me because they just suck all the creativity out. Like it's just hard news, facts. What I did was I took a class towards the end of my junior year that was a more creative free writing magazine class. Did a couple projects there, and I was like, yo, I love to be unleashed. Like I feel like I'm just kind of let out the bottle. I can insert humor and I can give my perspective. So I love to tell stories that challenge the status quo, that make you think a little bit differently, and that address like taboo issues in society. I love talking about things that most people don't like to talk about. And so that's one of the reasons why I create and why I create the things that I do create. So I grew up in the church, and I love the church. I think the church is awesome. I think God and Jesus is awesome. I think sometimes the church is a little flawed. And I think it's flawed in the fact that sometimes when we are in the church or when we go into religion, I feel like we pretend like we lose humanity. And in that, there's a lot of things that we do but don't talk about. And so I grew up in that kind of culture of just like, I need to talk about this stuff. I know that you're experiencing it and I'm experiencing it, but no one wants to talk about it. And I feel like as I found my voice, it was the voice of, let's talk about all this stuff that has been suppressed for all this time. And I started doing that in the church, with the sketches and the plays and stuff that I would write. And then it bled over into writing and developing materials outside of the church and dealing with just the real world, like sexual consent and race and all types of weird stuff, taboo stuff, that I just wanted to tackle, man, straight up.
Right. So describe the work that really goes into being an independent filmmaker in today's society.
I can't speak for everybody else. All I can speak for is myself. And I know for me it's a lot of work, mainly because as an independent filmmaker, I'm responsible for the very beginning of the process all the way to the completion. So for me, it's coming up with the idea. And there's various ways of how those come about, but a lot of times I'll just try and pull from an honest place or experience that I've had and turn that into a concept. So once I come up with the idea, I literally have to write the entire script, however long that takes me. After I write the script, then I have to go into, I'll edit it up, and then I have to go into kind of pre-production where I'll get a cinematographer, but a lot of times I don't have a whole lot of resources, so it's like usually a friend of a friend who helps me out. Luckily, I've been blessed with a lot of connections that I made in college that helped me do some stuff on a slightly discounted rate. But I'll go through and I'll like make a shot list, and I'll like close my eyes and envision how I see everything. I'll look at other shows and movies for references, and I'll like take screenshots and put those together and kind of form a storyboard. I'll get with my cinematographer, we'll talk it over, we'll scout locations, we'll take pictures, and then once we come up with our plan, and I'll go into casting and I'll figure out who I want to play these roles, and then I'll have meetings with them and kind of try to direct them one-on-one. It's hard to do practices because I'm working with people's schedules and my budget is slim, so I can't afford to pay people different hours. So then finally we get on the set, and that's usually pretty hectic because I'm always racing against the clock and trying to keep people motivated, which is tough. Also, I act in some of the things that I do, so it's a little bit hard trying to act and direct and manage the crew and all that stuff. But we get it done, and then after that, it's not done because I usually am the one that edits it. So after I take a little breath, I get all that footage, and then I chop it up just the way I want, and then I have to release it, and then I have to promote it. If you just follow me on Instagram, Joe Lumberjack, the link is in the bio. So,
well, y'all heard the man. Follow him. I've seen some of his work. His work is incredible, and I was privileged to interview him today. So, y'all have a good one. And Mr. Joseph Marshall.
I want to personally thank you all for tuning in to BSU Tonight. I'm Thaddeus PA. Thank you and good night.
BSU Tonight is produced by the students of Bowie State University's Communications Department.